Good evening, morning, afternoon, folks. This is the 7th Infinity Wars cast with, of course, me, Nova Blue, and
me, chest piece face,
and our very, very special privileged guest, Elphie Coyle.
Elphie
The original Coyle, guys.
Agent Coyle
Agent
in the
Coyle.
house.
The one of many, yes. The one of many.
Put the gun sword down, sir. Put the gun sword down.
Oh, indeed. So, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself, Elphie?
Elphie Coyle, founder of Lightmare Studios, the alt of Agent Coyle, and co-creator of Infinity Wars. So, for those who don't know, Infinity Wars was first birthed about 16, 17 months ago, maybe more, with Ian and myself sitting down one night and coming up with all the craziest ideas we could come up with to make a revolutionary digital trading card game. And what came out is pretty much what you see today, with a couple of minor changes to how the attack worked with the command zone. That's about the only big one that's really changed since the original inception of the game on that semi-drunken night. So it looks like it went pretty well. And what I will say, actually, is that I'm obviously from Lightmare. I am the founder and one of the owners of Lightmare. But I'm not going to be necessarily speaking officially on Lightmare's behalf in case I get any kind of slack from the powers that be or any other official parties. I have to be careful with that. So this is a fun thing. I have a nice scripted answer for the official Lightmare video that's been through every single person to make sure it's all good. But yeah, this will just be me talking from my heart as a gamer and fellow TCG fan. And obviously one of the key influences on the Infinity Wars game. So I probably shouldn't be wearing this Infinity Wars shirt, so I'll probably just change it for like a not so official shirt, just to prove my unofficialness today. That's all right.
You just wanted an excuse to take your shirt off.
I did.
Come on.
Oh, dear.
How obvious could you be? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be wearing this shirt either. Like,
Hey, I'm jealous of your hair. I'm jealous. I wish my beard went all the way down.
maybe you say that, but if your beard grows into your chest hair, it's a responsibility. You know, it's a great power. I can actually knock lesser men off their feet with my beard, and I have to harness that.
Oh, we're like the beard crew. We're all rocking one, so.
Oh yeah, everything is better with a beard.
Of course.
Everything is better with a beard.
Except potentially milkshakes with no straw.
Yes. No, but then it's just amusing. So
having a cold and a flu is pretty much not a good thing either. I've been suffering that for the past couple of days, and in freezing cold New York, in my bunk bed that I keep grabbing above me.
Yeah. Live from a bunk bed. But there you have it, guys. Infinity Wars birth on a drunken night. I find that quite amusing. But yes, awesome.
Well, continuing from that initial story, how do you? I think the obvious next question is, how do you feel about the growth of Infinity Wars over this last year? I mean, I've been part of it since October. Nova's been in since about September, and we're both pretty involved in the development of the game as much as we can be without being your direct employees. And I feel like, I'm impressed with how far the game is coming every week and every month. And the next patch that's coming is going to be great, which hasn't been disclosed entirely yet. But how do you feel about things leading up to, say, GDC this last week?
Definitely leading up to GDC and being at GDC, very very proud as I can be of everyone, and really happy with the growth that's happened and the interest and the fanaticism I'm seeing on the forums. I'm very, very happy. I can see, if I wasn't in this company, I would probably be one of those people on the forums, except I'd be chanting praises for Star Trek. But it's been good. And I tell the guys all the time, I'm like, problem with me is I'm an eternal optimist, so I'm always eternally disappointed. I thought it would be bigger than Hearthstone by now, but that's just because I'm an eternal optimist. So, but if I was to take a realistic perspective at it and a realistic look at where things are at, very, very happy. Very solid place, very strong place for us to be in right now. And we're really on the precipice of being able to do something very big. So,
yeah, well, believe me, Nova and I would like it to be bigger than Hearthstone too.
Oh God, yes. That's why we stream it every single day. So yeah.
Appreciate it. Very, very thankful for you guys and all the other casters and everyone else in the community. Definitely thankful for you guys.
That is one thing I will give you praise for. You have the community itself is just amazing. Like, I think me and Chess and everyone can just agree with it that the community is brilliant. Like, you just see the people like giving out free cards to each other to help each other out, help each collections. It's just simple things like that. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. And it's
a good group, and Teramis has done a great job of fostering a certain tone, what's acceptable and what's not, and we root out the bad seeds pretty quick. And of course, they're always the victims. They're always the victims. But
Teramis comes down with the banhammer with his big blue name in chat. Yeah, so. But no, it's...
So what was this? What was this business at GDC? You guys made some sort of big announcement that Nova, Blue, and I don't know anything about at all. So tell us as if we're never heard anything.
So yeah, how was GDC? Was GDC a success? Oh, we've lost sound. We've lost your sound.
We lost sound with you, Elphie.
Nope. Oh, dear. No. It's alright. It's all good. No, we still can't hear you, bro. Still can't hear you.
Let's try this again.
Yeah, let's try this again.
Mr. Elphie Coyle, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I back? Yes or no?
Yes. Your camera isn't back, but you are back.
Excellent. And I will bring my video up like so. Okay, cool. So, I'm not going to touch anything anymore. I'm just going to leave it like that. So, where was I? GDC is going very well. And the announcement that we made was for the Star Trek tie-in. And that's come down very well with all the people who haven't discovered Infinity Wars fully and got into the game. They're very much excited about that. And some Star Trek fans as well have said that they're going to start looking at the game now, which is part of the desired effect.
Mm-hmm. What is the Star Trek tie-in, again, for people who have no idea?
Yep. So for those who don't have any idea, it's the Star Trek Next Generation tie-in. It's an expansion that is not an official Infinity Wars expansion, but obviously it is compatible with the Infinity Wars game and the Infinity Wars sets in the Infinite mode, which will be coming soon.
Infinite mode?
Yep.
I don't think we've heard anything about this. That's the first I've heard about it.
What's Infinite mode?
Yeah, well, the idea of Infinite mode was from its inception. So keep in mind that this is a long time coming. Mm-hmm. When I first came up with the game with Ian, we were planning for all of this. And in fact, I remember a very large discussion at a table once where I was pushing for parallel universe lore, and everyone else at the table did not want to do it. And the reason for that, and I don't even remember if I mentioned it back then because it might have been way too far out of scope for anyone at the table to even consider it, was the idea of having sets like Star Trek in there one day and potentially others as an optional add-in. And so therefore the universe was set up to be able to accommodate that. The art style was set up in a way that would be able to accommodate other realistic style art styles and sets and universes. So no, there won't be any Pokemon, there won't be any My Little Pony for you little fans out there. For you fans out there. For your little fans, your big fans of the My Little Pony. And yeah, it's been set up that way. But who knows where it's going to go? Obviously, I come up with crazy ideas like trading houses and commander zones and stuff, and sometimes they work, and who knows, sometimes they might not. But the good thing is we've picked a time in the life cycle of the game, and it's where it kind of fits to have this move be played. The game isn't officially released yet. We are doing it in a bit of a different fashion at this point. Again, this I'm speaking unofficially here because we've still got confirmations to come. but we're doing a bit of an LCG expansion, so people will be able to buy all the cards for a price, for a nice hefty LP price. Or they'll be able to get blister packs. That's the current plan. Don't hold me to it. But there's a couple of different things we're playing with because we're an indie company, because I love destroying people's misconceptions and preconceptions every now and then, and hopefully surprising them as well with the final product that comes together. And we're of course going to use metrics and measuring, and we're going to test and see how much of a wise idea some of these moves are that we make. We like to A/B test, and whilst it's still in beta, we can safely do that. Possibly post-beta, we'll do things, but we'll do them carefully. And particularly now that we're really at the end of the beta cycle, we're being very careful with how we implement everything, and being very careful with not making absolute sweeping changes. So there is no changes to the law, even though the law could accommodate it. It's not official. It hasn't hit the official canon, nor that I don't even know if it physically could, because there'll be legal considerations on the other side, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be this unofficial thing that can happen, and we can sort of let our imaginations and fandom run off with that, but be able to play in the game with those cards and actually see them go head to head.
Yeah, I can't wait to play around with the Star Trek cards. It's gonna be so much fun. And though, as I said, when it was first found out that there were going to be Star Trek cards, my chat was, one thing, it was the craziest chat I've ever had, honestly, because there was obviously a lot of people were concerned about the game and concerned about what's going on, and some people, it's sad to say, some people are going to leave because of it, because this is what the reaction I've got from people. But the vast majority, now that it's been kind of confirmed that they're not going to be ranked legal and things like this, that it's and the Teramis came on my show last night and explained a bit more about the direction you want to go in regarding other universes and stuff like this, and I think it's awesome. I do. I think it's a brilliant idea.
There was a lot of misunderstanding. I think there's a lot of rabble, and I'm don't like this, and why they do that to me, and I think if those people were gonna play the game anyway, they're sticking around, and if they're looking for a reason to leave, okay, then here you go, here's your reason to leave, I guess. But
there's a couple of things I want to say to that. First up, really, thanks for the people who are doing that. They're obviously quite passionate about the game. They obviously care about the game a lot, and therefore, they're some of the most important people to us as a company. The other thing I want to say is that the concept is kind of like having all the toys in your room and being able to sort of play with them all together, being able to use them all together if you wish. But of course, if you want to have and play with your core set, then play with the core set, and in fact, it will be quite prominent and only the ones that currently the only ones that will be legal in tournament play or anything like that. So, I don't see any real actual practical reason other than people just being pissed off to leave the game. Their game, the way that we're setting it up, and here's the thing, the way that we're going to look at implementing it, if a person never wants to see a Star Trek or a Predator card or whatever card they don't want to see in the game, they can never see that in the game. They can never see that in their matchmaking quite easily with one checkbox done. So there really isn't, for those people who are really passionate, and we're really thankful for those people who are passionate about the lore and the feel of it, then do that. The other thing is that there was a great little comment on the forums about buying a piece of art with dinosaur stickers on it, and it's we don't know. I mean, we don't know. The funny thing is that comment sort of backfired. He talked about this masterpiece being painted and then putting dinosaur stickers on it. And then WW Knight says, I'd buy that thing. And then the guy himself says, I'd probably buy it too, actually. And the fact is, we don't know how something's going to look in reality until it takes form. We can sort of predict, and I can dream and think about how amazing it could be, and it might not be. But, damn, we're going to give it a shot if we can. And, if it's going to mean that we're going to have an influx of players, if it's going to mean that all these comments about people saying we don't have a strong brand behind us, therefore we're not going to succeed. If those things are going to fade away because we're going to get some recognition and credibility, then so be it. It's pretty damn hard to actually get any kind of poster space or any kind of interviews and stuff, really, because we've got another trading card game by an indie company. I mean, how many of those are there out there?
Exactly.
Whereas now we have something that is at least newsworthy, and it's at least going to bring eyes to the page, at least get people looking at the game, even knowing about the game.
On that subject, how did you, I think there's a question a lot of people would like to know the answer to, and obviously you can't go into the details because it's proprietary knowledge, but how do you, as a independent game developer in Australia, go about securing one of the largest licenses in all of multimedia today? How do you get CBS to agree to trust their license to you? How does that happen?
Yeah, that's crazy. No, it all started at GDC last year, man. That's how long a process it took. It's something I was personally handling for a lot of it, and then we've partnered with Iconic. We've been looking at a whole bunch of, to be frank, we're looking at a whole bunch of licenses I would love to see in the game, and then this is the strong one that came forward that we thought would be a good card to go with, to play. So it's a lot of work. It's months and months of work, and it's a lot of it's thanks to the partnership we have with Iconic, and obviously now we've got the deal. And it was something I had to be quiet about even with the team, because if that leaked out, God forbid, like I only announced it really recently to the staff when they had to start making the cards.
Yeah.
So it's like surprise, and even mixed perceptions from the team as well. But now that the team sort of had a chance to look with it, to play with the stuff, and to be able to find an art style that meshes the cards well and still portrays the characters properly, it's looking pretty damn good. I mean, if you've seen the Enterprise in the gift, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've seen the preview cards, and the way you designed the Star Trek cards are really, really nice. Like,
by the way, if anyone's got an Android phone, you guys should. I don't know if you guys know this already, but if you have an Android phone, I can give you guys probably. I don't know. I have to officially. I don't even know if I can do it in this page, but you can sort of grab any GIF of the cards that we have and put them as a background for your wallpaper. That's something I have.
Did not know that, and I do have an Android phone right here in my hand.
So do I.
I will be able to pass you guys a copy, but I don't know if I have to check all this stuff out. But we've got some good ideas down the track for the iOS and Android. Yeah.
As I said, I can't wait to just play around with the Star Trek cards. There's going to be so much fun. But then, you talking about
Nova, be sure to contact Google about the advertising deal for the Android phones.
Oh yeah. Of course, I will.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that. As you're talking about the expanding into different universes and stuff, like people in the chat were joking complete when they kind of said, "Oh, you might be going into different stuff like this." They were joking let's have Picard and Frodo in a fight. Just that by itself is amazing.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah,
I would.
It's absolutely glorious, and the fact that a walrus can destroy the Enterprise. Is
it's an artifact that technically. Oh yes, it can. It's right, of course. It's the walrus
can destroy the Enterprise. That by itself.
That is one wreckful walrus.
Yes, it is.
That is a wreckful walrus.
And that's the beauty of it. It's going to bring, some people are going to be probably a bit annoyed, and they are probably going to leave. But on the other hand, it's going to bring in a hell of a lot more people than people are going to leave. So, I'm really excited for that. I'm really, really excited for that.
You mentioned infinite mode, but you didn't actually tell us what it is, and my brain won't let that go. I need an answer.
So the idea is that any universes that we have, so currently there's only the Omni, the Infinity Wars, and the Star Trek multiverses, I'll call them. Mm-hmm. We'll be able to go into the infinite mode, or that's the plan for that mode at the moment.
Okay.
So it's just another word to distinguish what currently is any type of play in unranked.
As opposed to tournament mode, as opposed to ranked legal mode.
Well, as opposed to ranked legal mode. And as opposed to just Infinity Wars universe cards, which we're looking at as a third option. We're also looking at a consolidated mode that will make it so it's a lot easier to find games. And I'm really working hard with Ian. I've got a bunch of ideas around how we can consolidate all these modes and stuff in the multiplayer so that you can find a match easily. So I can imagine it'd be pretty hard to find a mode if you've gone and put yourself up in a match that's hyper and tournament and pauper or whatever. You go and make this crazy little combination that no one else is looking for. So we're trying to make it so that the matchmaking will allow everyone to find everyone, and for you to choose your decks for your modes quite easily. So
All right, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to that. That sounds good. So yeah, Chess, do you want to go ahead with your next question, or shall I go for one?
Well, I like talking.
I know you like talking.
This asked, I'd just love to just quickly point out there was one person, and only one person said it, but there was one person who was talking about boycotting the set and all this kind of. And I'm really glad that with all the upsetness, there was only one person who said that. Obviously, that's one way to ensure that no one gets any more cards of any type. Full stop. If we stop having people purchase stuff. Full stop. Right. So, the people who are wanting to buy them and occasionally use them, of course, if you do that, it keeps helping the company out. And we're going to be very careful with this. Of course, we're not necessarily going to be watching just the sales of products. We're also going to look at what games are being played, what types are being played, what are the players playing. Right? It's one thing to buy something; it's another thing to use it. So we're going to look at, what people are actually actively playing as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to future decisions. Yep.
All right. Cool. Definitely. Yeah. All right. So, going back to. Moving on from that, going back to the kind of the start of where Infinity Wars started. You obviously mentioned you just kind of sat down with Ian on a drunken night and came up with the idea. Was the company formed at that point? How did you start the company, and where did you go? When you obviously, because I'm a games design student myself. So when you obviously first start making a game, where did you start building your company up and stuff like this?
Well, I've been wanting to make a trading card game since I was 8. And, I've been looking online a couple of years before we started Infinity Wars and looking for any kind of, basically Magic clone game that was quite playable. The closest I could find was Shadow Era, and something didn't feel right about that game. I'm trying not to knock any other games, but it's it didn't feel like Magic, to be frank. So I was the timing came up, and it was very good thanks to a good friend of mine in the industry, Morgan Chaffett, who triggered us to think maybe this is the right time to actually start doing this. And then when we were driving home in the car, it just hit me in the face like a brick that we could do animated cards. And that was the convincing factor for Ian. That was the point of difference that was we're actually going to be able to get the appropriate attention that we're going to need to be able to build a solid community and to be able to get people behind a great product. And then, it was a matter of sitting down to nut out the actual workings of the game. I brought over, this just shows the different types of TCG players both Ian and I were. Ian's obviously a massive Magic fan. That's mainly what he's been into the whole time. And he's been reading the design blogs from Magic designers for years. And I've been playing basically every TCG under the planet, both professionally and, not professional, call it pro. I went to a few tournaments. I'm a professional now, and I came 14th among 100. But, I won money. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
so I call myself a professional when I made money off playing a TCG, right? So there you go.
Technically true.
And and so therefore I brought over all my different cards. I was let's just grab all these different packs of cards, think about all the different dynamics and the evolutions that have happened in physical formats on the one hand. So think about what can we do from an actual Magic trading card game design point of view overall, and then also what can we do on a digital format that'll make use of the fact that it's being done on a computer, and then just went for it. Threw out stuff. I love the idea of, having a close connection to 3 cards or to a couple of cards, similar to a Pokemon, where you have your favorite people who become your commanders. I love the zoning from other games as well, where you can, I think Versus was one that had that. Versus also had the idea of losing health points whenever a character dies to deal with attrition. So that's where the idea for morale came from originally, which further developed down the line, as you guys know, into an actual point value. What else? Emphasis was put on short games, so we made it so that characters could do that. The games could end quite quickly, and they wouldn't drag out to 2 or 3 hours. And what else? That was probably probably the big ones. There's a couple of new things I've got in my mind as well from other trading card games coming soon. But I'm not going to give too many spoilers now. But yeah.
It's okay. You can. It's just us guys talking. You can tell us.
This is not being recorded.
We
up on
won't tell
YouTube or
all of
anything.
YouTube or anything like that. No.
Yeah, well, I've got an idea around face down cards. So let's put it that way.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that. Like, Teramus has talked about like you guys wanting to put something similar to trap cards in the game, and as you started talking about that, so
yeah. So that's just a crazy idea I had one day when I was thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fact that I want people to buy, the deck sleeves. There's a good reason to buy them, right? You've got more than deck itself with that card on it, that card back on it.
That's true. Yeah.
I think the geeks for the game. I think we love card backs. I want more card backs. I want more battlefields. I want more avatars. I'll buy that shit up. If there were,
well,
I mean, the avatars
may come soon.
Yeah, the avatars all the avatars you can get, I'm like, I don't want those avatars, but if you ask me what avatars I do want, I got a list. Like, there's all kinds of avatars I want. Like, so, those of us who, like, I'm at a point with the game, honestly, I mean, here's what you don't want to hear as a CEO. I'm a guy who has money, who loves your game. I'm out of shit to spend money on. I'm all out of things to give you money for. I need more stuff to buy.
Yeah, I've got something very special for you coming in about 1 or 2 weeks' time, a couple of weeks' time.
Great. Thank you, Elphie. Just for me.
It's a beard avatar, isn't it? It's a beard avatar.
Beard. So here's an important question. Which Agent Coyle is the best Agent Coyle?
It's so hard to pick. I would have to say, oh God, do I give that away? I would have to say that Agent Coyle Divine Demonic is my favorite card, and I can't say any more than that.
Divine Demonic.
More spoilers.
More spoilers.
Well.
This is why I shouldn't be doing these shows, right? It's good.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that's an Exile one.
I didn't think the Exiles could be infiltrated by Agent Coyle. I thought that was not happening. Wow. I mean, you didn't say that. We said that, but we said that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, after that bombshell, we might as well lead on to another spoiler.
Yeah, don't we have a... we have not one but 2 Agent Coils to spoil?
Yes, we have 2 Agent Coils to spoil. We have Agent Coyle Soul Seller. Is that correct?
Oh, hang on, you should only have Soul Seller. Have you got more than one Agent Coyle to spoil, or are you talking about the one I just spoiled then?
Yeah, just the one you just spoiled then, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Look at this. You guys can see it on the YouTube video right now. This is the artwork for Agent Coyle Soul Seller, which is the new Varroa coil. So, could you tell us a bit more about this, about what he does?
Absolutely. Well, let's talk lore for a second first, because everyone's so keen to find out more. So I don't even know what's been posted anywhere, or if this is just still going on in my head. But now, it's going to be a bit more known out there, at least to the hardcore fans. So everyone should by now know that there's an Agent Coyle that's sort of jumped forward to the future, and so we'll call him Alpha 1 for the sake of knowing which one's which. So there's the original Agent Coyle, which is present day Agent Coyle, and the Alpha 1 jumped forward into the future. And decided, obviously, to try and fight these guys, fight the cyborg zombies, and so original Agent Coyle gave up a lot of his powers to be absorbed by Alpha 1, and that's why the picture of Alpha 1 doing the very classic 80s cartoon show, I have the power, I have the power, is him gaining all of Agent Coyle Alpha 1 originals. Sorry, all of the original Agent Coyle's powers and forms. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the power went to his head. The whole idea is that if power is given rather than earned, then it can corrupt quite easily. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this sort of corrupted him a bit, and he did get a bit too headstrong and ego full, and got infected by the sleepers. So he's now switched sides quite clearly to the bad guys, the Alpha 1 has. Mm-hmm. And so the Alpha One is now, obviously a cyborg zombie, and we'll find out what happens to him as well with the other card in the upcoming set.
I thought Alpha One had to go hunt and kill Zomborg because he'd become evil. I didn't realize that Alpha One became Zomborg. I thought the lore said that Alpha One had to go hunt and kill Zomborg.
If it says that was that might be a leftover and a typo from the original plan for the lore. So I don't know if the card still says that, but it certainly shouldn't. But yes, it is. And in fact, a little known thing, the original art for the Zomborg was actually the original Coyle getting infected, and you saw in his form it was the DoD armor that sort of broke off and fell to the ground instead of
how sick would that have been?
Yeah.
the Alpha Hunter. I'm thinking about releasing it as an alternate art, but yeah.
That'd be nice, yeah.
It's alternate timeline, alternate art. If you want to get really technical. So yeah, it is definitely Alpha One that gets infected, and Alpha One that starts going down this pretty dark path, and then give you a hint at what happens to him. He decides to go. Obviously, he's become evil now, so he does what any evil hero would do, and go out and become even more evil. So if you can think about another way to do that, that's what he goes and does in the next set. Meanwhile, the original Agent Coyle is obviously quite drained and needs to make a deal with Rita, of all people, to regain his power. So that's why you'll see some chains around his arms there, and he's actually in an arena fighting that massive demon.
So the Soul Seller is original Agent Coyle, while Primal Hunter, Immovable, Firestarter, Mechborn are all forms of Alpha One.
No. So this is where it gets confusing. We need to write a book. I need someone to write a book. So
yes, you do.
okay, so way back, right? Original Alpha One lands on the planet, and then obviously the planet happens to be the Genesis planet, and he gains the Genesis powers and infiltrates the Genesis and infiltrates the Flame Dawn, and then infiltrates the old world and the Warpath, and then finally the DoD.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the original Agent Coyle, his journey, and then Alpha One's gone and absorbed his powers. So that's why you see him flash into those different types, because he's taken on those powers and those forms from the original Agent Coyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I think I'm following. But that's brilliant. Yeah, but you
So
need to write this down.
All the coils are the original Coyle, but
Correct.
Alpha One can absorb their entities back, and when he goes and absorbs the Zomborg entity, it corrupts him.
Correct. Spot on.
There you go.
Because Agent Coyle's original power is a simulation of powers and forms.
Why did the original Coyle create Alpha One when
He
he
didn't
could just
create him?
become?
Alpha One is. So if you look at the timeline, this is a time travel thing, right? So way back we have Alpha One, who ends up becoming Mechborn, right?
Yeah.
But there's a time displacement. There's a time rift that opens up.
Yes.
And then the original Agent Coyle, who is then Alpha One, jumps through the portal and ends up in present day, without the years of experience and going and infiltrating and memories of going and infiltrating all these different factions and fighting for these factions.
I see. Okay.
Oh, so it's like there's two realities of Coyle. There's the one reality of Coyle who's traveled from all these factions and absorbed their knowledge and infiltrated them, and then there's a Coyle that skipped ahead for power in the future.
Correct. Well, he skipped ahead just because out of curiosity at first, and then once he gained the power, then yes, it became about power. Yeah.
All right.
And he only gained those powers, and the original Agent Coyle only shared his powers to be able to help take on the Horde, right? Even though it would weaken him, three, or the equivalent power of having 3 Agent Coils essentially is better than having 2, right? So, or 1.5 really, because the original Agent Coyle hasn't really gained all those powers and hasn't been through and gained that much strength yet. Mhm.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I like it. I like it. It's very complex, but I like it.
It is. Takes a short story to explain it, but we'll see. Maybe someone can write something else.
Yeah,
and we'll
some
make
of the
it.
lore geeks are gonna tear this apart. They're
Oh.
gonna be like,
Yep.
Well, there's a little geek who wants to have a crack at it, and it reads good enough that I'm happy to make it official. So,
There you go then. Awesome.
there you go, guys.
everyone with a law geek.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, as we're on the topic of kind of new cards that are coming, like how is Ascension going? We've obviously some of the cards been previewed thus far, just Primal Rage, Void Split, and Overclock, which are all awesome cards.
And Flamed On Commando and Mindbender.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah, derp.
Amazing.
But from what I've seen, like obviously there isn't. I can speculate because obviously we are QA testers, but there isn't that many cards on the QA server yet. So my speculation of obviously Ascension is obviously there's the rumors of the new faction and stuff like this coming, and obviously Teramus kind of gave me and Chess Kali the Ascended card to show the artwork, which is phenomenal artwork.
Smexy.
Yep, and then obviously I think you guys showed at GDC the Ascended Luca and Ascended Z as well. Am I correct?
I think we did.
Yeah. So there's going to be this new Ascended cards, but then on top of that, seeing the cards like Overclock and Primal Rage thus far, it's like the rest of the factions are putting up their last stand, their last fight by hurting themselves, like with Primal, like the adrenaline-fueled last stand kind of thing. Am I correct in that assumption?
Well, yeah, it's basically a last-ditch effort to try and take out this numerous swarm of zombie cyborgs. So it's pretty much do or die time, and there will be casualties in the form of, at this point, there will be casualties in the form of factions. So. We'll see where it all goes.
We really got to do something about it. Yesterday, I went to get tacos, and I had to fight zombie cyborgs all the way to the taco shop and all the way back home. And if we don't do something about these zombie cyborgs, I won't be able to get tacos.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So you're saying a casualty of a faction?
That's on the cards. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Or more than one. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that will be the start of when you start kind of maybe phasing some stuff out, or is it still going to be in the game?
So one will fall?
Ranked
Is
player
that what you're
will.
saying? One will fall?
At this stage, one will fall. Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
One or two may fall. At least one will fall. Yeah.
Ah, nice. Okay then. The lore is getting intense, guys. It's going to be good. I'm looking
There's a lot
forward
of things we need to balance around, obviously, metagame and around all those different things, but it's exciting.
yeah,
It
of
allows
course,
us to very interesting directions, and it doesn't mean that I will always say never say never, right? So it doesn't mean that faction's gone forever. But yeah, there will be some significant impacts from this plague.
Wow.
Yeah, it's important if you're sitting at home listening to this and you're thinking like, oh my god, immediate game meta change. Don't take it that way. This stuff that happens in the lore is happening slower than the mechanics in the game are going to actually change. Just because something in the story starts to be set up, you may not see that change in the actual gameplay mechanics for 6 months or something like that. So don't start throwing away your cards or saying this is no good anymore, this is done, because you still got to compete and play the game up until that change happens, and nobody knows when that's coming. That's totally unreleased information.
And a lot of players don't factor in the fact that, even if there is a change and if there's a faction that's wiped out, then there's still sometimes years before that faction is no longer legal for tournaments, right? So, so we've definitely got a long cycle on our cards, and so therefore,
Yeah. So talking about cycles, like how many cards are you imagining to be in, like as in ranked legal in any one time?
I'd estimate at this point somewhere in the vicinity of 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're saying like 2 more sets before things start
Yeah,
to disappear.
Well, it actually depends on how we end up doing. But pretty sure we're doing it. It could be more than that. Yeah. So I would definitely aim for minimum 400 all the way up. Right. It depends on when we're doing full sets, or there could be any time. At any time there might be like 6 or 7 sets that are all ranked legal. So, and this is all 2-3 years down the track.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And when we say ranked legal in tournaments, that's those kind of tournaments. What's to say we can't have an unlimited tournament or an infinite tournament? We can do all that, but obviously our primary focus and our primary balance point will always be the easiest thing for us to balance, which is the latest sets of cards, which has a limited set of number of permutations.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, I know there's a certain segment of the community that would like to hear your thoughts. And I say certain segment because I don't include myself in this segment, but I know there's an obligation to represent these people, and that is the hardcore competitive scene. There's there's a certain segment of TCG players who feel like this game won't really get on the map until it serves the hardcore competitive TCG players. And what are your visions for making this a hardcore competitive game? Like, I can't say I honestly need that out of Infinity Wars myself, but I know people who do.
Sure. Our next focus after getting it stable and getting it fully working and rocking is to look at competitive. That's where we're going to get some big news. That's where we're going to get some, the players themselves are going to feel a incredible sense of value and pride in being able to become the best. I've got some awesome plans of what that player who is the best will be able to do in the game, give them some godlike powers, and literally have them be part of the game in a way they haven't expected yet. And so yeah, I mean the thing is we are putting focus on that after we get to basically to release, hopefully. We'll be focusing on esports and what we can do after that point.
Well, awesome. I that's one aspect of the game that I'm so looking forward to. I can't wait to shoutcast. I can't wait to host tournaments myself. I'm already hosting tournaments as I speak. I've just started my 4-week little mini Pauper series this week, so I just can't wait. I like the spectator mode can't come quick enough. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, for as long as we keep getting supported and encouraged, we want to keep this game going. We're not looking. I mean, obviously, if we can make it into a whatever product and all be rich and famous and great, but we're doing this because we love TCGs. So we will keep going for as long as we want to keep playing TCGs. I hate the idea of playing a TCG and then it fades away into nothingness. So, there's low costs to keep this going. So provided we have our core base there who's still willing to keep supporting us as a company, then we will keep making cards. We will keep expanding the base game and the base platform that we're building here. And we're going to be able to do all kinds of good stuff with it in the future.
Yeah.
So
That sounds awesome. As I said, can't wait.
How was the Steam launch for you guys? Did that meet expectations? Are you guys was that a surprise? That's been like what about 7 weeks now since the Steam launch, something like that. That should be enough time for you guys to see what kind of metrics you hit. Was that been a positive thing?
It's definitely blown away expectations from nearly everyone. So yeah, very, very happy with the results. They're staying quite strong, which is good as well. So everyone's still, spreading the game and bringing new people in. We haven't had any releases, so it's looking very good, very positive. I think it's the big thing that can really pull us out into the stretch of doing really, really well and being able to maintain our current pace and community and cards.
Yeah,
so yeah, very happy.
Yeah, how is your relationship to Steam? Because I heard from Teramus that it was a bit kind of rocky at some stage when you're trying to pick, like, are you going to use Steam servers or are you going to use your own and things like this?
I wouldn't say it was rocky. It was a question of how are we going to implement Steam, to what degree, and does that cut out other ways of doing payment and what have you? And that's really what it came down to. But we've integrated it in a way that we're happy with and allow the Steam users to come in with their Steam wallets and stuff, and I play it through the Steam client. So, yeah, it's good.
All right then. So okay, yeah. One thing I do want to ask, and I think everyone will want to know as well, since we're talking about you actually playing the game. Favorite cards, top 3.
I can't. I'm not gonna take Agent Coyle's aside.
Of course, yeah.
I would say Dark Wish is one.
Okay.
Just because I love the options. See, mine are that interesting, really. It's the other two. I mean, any of the Swarmers, which I've designed recently. But
All right. So you are the idea behind the Swarmers.
oh yeah, everything. If you see something crazy, it was usually from me. So, like insanely crazy, and like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would have to say I'm going to say the Enterprise because the art is just incredible. It's just blowing me away.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yep. Well then, yeah. Talking about more Swarmers, because I know a lot of people ask me in the stream actually about the Swarmers. What are you going to do about them? Are you going to make them viable?
Yeah, it's at least 5. I think it's 4 or 5 more Swarmers coming next set.
Wow! Wow! There you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
viable build now, along with that elemental Swarmer. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. That will please a lot of people. I can tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who really want the Swarmer deck to be a thing, and when I heard about them in quality assurance testing, I tried to make them a thing, and it didn't quite work for me. And then people found a way, and then it got immediately nerfed. And I think people felt like, oh, now the Swarmers are never going to be a thing. But it just needs more. It just needs to be built out, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So moving on to like what we're talking about your favorite kind of things in the game. What like say aspect or card or set or anything? What are you most kind of proud of within Infinity Wars in general? The whole thing. It's probably a tough question.
Yeah, no, I would have to say the bluff and prediction mechanics would be my favorite thing. It's been years since I've jumped out of my chair playing at the TCG, and I remember there was one time when we were first playing around with the Cyborg Zombies, I was playing online, and I came up with the idea for the sleepers in the first place, and Patient Zero particularly as being the first one of the sleepers, and he was in the command zone, and I used his ability on a player, used up all 8 resources, used it on a player's commander, predicting that he would bring commander out onto the field as a move, and then it paid off and killed it. I took it and I jumped out of my seat. So yeah, I would definitely say the idea of that is probably the coolest thing that I've seen in Infinity Wars, particularly up against all the other games that are out there, the TCGs that are out there.
Yeah, that is a very exciting part of the game. Same thing with I've been playing some control decks lately on my stream, which I'm not. Anybody who knows me knows I'm primarily an aggro player, but I've been playing a little control, and especially you can't mass death willy nilly. You used to, 6 months ago, you used to be able to mass death turn 6, and people would fall into it. Now you can't. You basically, if you have mass death, you have to hold it for some unpredictable time in the future. You have to watch the ebb and flow of your opponent's creatures back and forth from the support zone and figure, okay, now he's going to go all in. Now's the time. And that moment where you throw mass death out there and you hit end turn and you wait, and then you see him move all in to attack and defend, and you're just like,
yep.
Oh.
Or if you're the opposite like me and have the worst mass death paranoia in the world, I would just sit back and just like, nope, nope. And most of the time I'll literally sit there till he's played all 3 of them, and then I'll just go ahead and be like, all right, I'm fine now.
Yeah. That's what I usually do too. I just send the trickle in, because if the person hasn't got many creatures in the first place, I don't have to win instantly against all 3.
But when you get one and they walk into the mass death and you tear them apart, it's so delightful.
But then when it's done to you, you just cry.
I laugh. Like a video cam footage of the person's face when it happens.
That'd be glorious.
Yeah.
Mass death cam.
Mass death. Yeah. Infinity Wars takes over your system and makes you broadcast your mass death face.
That would be brilliant. That has to happen. That has to be a video or something. We have to do something like multiple people all like mass death. Oh, that'd be that. Yeah.
Getting their mass death face.
What's your mass death face? Well, I'll make a forum post about this. What's your mass death face? And then yeah, that'd be great. So, on the opposite side, what are your least 3 favorite cards?
Mass death, though. That's a hard one. I'm not really one to pick bad things, but at least 3 favorite cards. I suppose it's just anything that's really that gets overplayed too much. No, I don't really have any. I can't really answer that question.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can understand.
I'm pretty sure I heard Elphie say he hates G. I'm pretty sure I heard him say he hates.
That's you, Chess. And
G who honors the dead. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Sides of this because I love her to bits and I think she's awesome, and you just
G who honors the dead. Oh, Elphie hates G who honors the dead. What a shame.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, I hate your least favorite card," which isn't Z. You know it isn't, Chess.
Totally is. I heard him.
I will crestle you again. I will crestle you. The game is looking phenomenal. I can't wait for more. The Ascension set, from what it sounds like, is gonna be huge.
Yeah, are you guys?
Sorry, I was going to ask you guys, what are your least? I mean, besides the one you mentioned, what are your least favorite cards?
Mine first. Oh, go ahead, Jess.
Well, I tend to pick least favorites based on cards that lack efficiency. I'm with Teramis. I tend to be very measured about how I look at each card. I've listened to him a lot about how to analyze cards. And I tend to look at each card for where it sits in its own faction. And the cards that I have least favorites for are cards that are just inefficient. And a lot of that's getting changed. The card that is the probably silliest card in the game right now is Scramble, because it has a chance to do absolutely nothing. You could play Scramble and it could literally go off and put everything right back where it started again. And that would be a 0 point. You got nothing out of playing that. It did nothing at all in the game. And that I have a bit of an issue with.
It's the fun of random, though, isn't it?
But Scramble's a fun card, though. It's not... It is bad, but it's not meant to be. Right,
but I'm just saying, I don't tend to discount a card. I don't go, I don't like this art, or I don't like this ability. I tend to go, is this useful? Is this too expensive? And that's what makes me dislike something. Because I try to keep a really open mind about what place something might have. Maybe I haven't thought of what to use. I don't like Praz at all. But Teramis really likes Praz. My friend Hattori really likes Praz. People tell me Praz is useful if you can get Praz out there. I don't like Praz because I got one every 9 pre-release packs I opened. Out of 9, every 9 packs, I got another Praz. I have 26 platinum Prazes I don't want. So I hate Praz. But people say he's useful.
I think he'd be a lot better once the faction, the dual faction cards, when they change, you can choose the commander slot. Though.
Yeah, when the hybrid thing is adjusted, it'll be better.
Because him in command is a scary thing. If you can't deal with it, turn 4, that's a scary thing.
Sure.
How about you, Nova?
As I said, actually, thinking about it now, it is kind of hard. My least favorite faction, just because they count my favorite faction almost completely, is Varroa. But just trying to think of a specific card that I don't particularly like. I don't like. Well, it's not like I don't like the card and it's not good. It's that I hate it when it works, or what. I hate it when it's used against me well. Demon of Gluttony is one I have a little bit of a particular hate for when they use it well. There's nothing you can do about it. To be honest, I'm probably just going to say Mass Death, because my Mass Death paranoia is off the charts. I know that's probably and then Rebellion in the text down below is going to go more Mass Death, please. But this is.
But you don't know, but when you hate a card, the only counter to that is to play it. Like, I hate G less than I used to because I've been playing some G decks. I still think she needs some attention. Wink, wink. But you know, like if you play the cards you hate, you learn to appreciate them a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think hate's a strong word. I don't hate the cards. It's just, you know what I mean. Least favorite. Let's put it. Let's not hate.
Nova Blue wants G. Who honors the dead? Nerf confirmed.
No. Buff. Well, we're getting an Ascension version, so.
Oh yeah, and my stream was going crazy about that. They're like, "Oh great, a more powerful G."
Are you guys live with this, by the way? Just out of curiosity, is this?
No. We're recording this.
Recording?
Yeah. So if you do want me to edit bits out, let me know.
I was just saying if there's any questions from any of you guys on your streams and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
We would have done that, but we weren't positive we didn't hype this interview because in case it didn't happen, we know you were busy with your traveling. We didn't want to let our people down, so we told people we had a surprise guest this week, and we do indeed.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I think most of the questions we're gonna be able to ask. No worries. So one thing, talking about the future of Lightmare, like, let's put it stage. Where would you like to see Lightmare or the Infinity Wars in, like, a year's time, 3 years, or 5 years, kind of?
Look, I'm a big dreamer. I would like to see Infinity Wars become the #1 played trading card game in the world. It's going to call it. It's going to take a lot to do it, but I think it actually has the potential to do it. I think it really does. Mm-hmm. With our convergence onto digital, the fact that most of the big name card games are physical, and everyone's starting to get a device where they can sort of play in these different areas that they do socially, but on a digital device. I think a digital trading card game will be the #1 in a few years' time. And if we keep doing what we're doing and be solid and keep hearing our customers and at the same time, working towards our dreams, then it's possible.
Well, the move to mobile coming here probably at the end of spring, beginning of summer, or something like that, I'm guessing. But like that should be having mobile cross-platform to PC and Mac, so you got all 4 major platforms covered. That's going to be really big for the game, and for markets that you don't have addressed. If you want to get presence in the Asian market, being mobile is a huge deal. Trading card games in Japan and things like that on the phone. They play Puzzles and Dragon.
I've definitely got some high hopes for the mobile thing. It is currently called a companion for a reason, and we're not aiming it because we're going to realize there's a whole different market if we're talking about mobile users, and they need a very different approach to the game. They need to be assisted the whole way through the gameplay process, whereas hardcore and mid-core users can generally figure things out for themselves, and we have an academy built up for the mid-core players to learn how to play the game. So I think we've got a long way to go before we can do an official Infinity Wars mobile version, but we will certainly have it so that people can play the game from anywhere, and even, I believe, edit their decks and stuff as well from anywhere. So it'll definitely be great for our current player base, and for a lot of the players that have said, look, I will play this game when it's out on Android or on a tablet. I've seen that a lot. So, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I think that'll be really good. What are you guys looking at? There was quite a delay between Rise and Infestation because of a number of unforeseen circumstances, and you guys having to get certain business dealings in place and timing things out. Are you guys planning to keep a tight release schedule moving forward? Wizards of the Coast style, every 3 months, every 4 months, there's a new set, period, end of story?
Yeah, we're looking pretty tight now. I mean, things are very much consolidated as a business, and we're pretty much on track to keep pumping out expansions on time. So we're looking good. And we're looking to it this Star Trek release not affecting our cycle. Because we've actually taken a bit of a bet financially and stuff, and gotten some more artists and stuff on board to be able to make more cards.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Are you going to be pursuing other licenses in the near future so that people will be able? That's my suspicion is you're going to get once there are more licenses, I'm assuming, but I'm thinking people will look back on the Star Trek one as just one of many. It won't seem nearly as significant if you end up acquiring numerous other licenses. How's your plan for that look?
It's looking pretty good. We're eyeing off a few different licenses, but I really want to see how this lands and the impact of it before we, start handing over cash to get other licenses and stuff. We are certainly not being sponsored by Paramount or anyone like that to do this stuff. This is done out of passion. We love Star Trek. We love the idea of a multiverse, but we're very, very careful and cautious about how we implement this and making sure that we preserve our lore and our focus on the Infinity Wars universe, which is proving to be quite a beautiful universe that everyone's falling in love with. So, we don't want to, for the sake of somebody not liking a particular universe, ruin their experience of the Infinity Wars universe.
Well, it's definitely true to say that a lot of people are falling in love with it. Because one thing I will say that you've definitely got right, like there is a huge mix of people, like more than pretty much any other game socially I've played.
Right.
I'm just gonna go out and say that because it is true. Because obviously, a lot of the people who've played Magic for years and years and years. Since it first came out and stuff like this, that people in their 40s and their 50s have played Magic for so long because they've loved it, and then they've come into the game and they've still got the nostalgia. They're getting the nostalgia from Infinity Wars, from their previous experience in Magic, and they're getting that. But then the art style and the way the game plays and the whole mechanics and everything is bringing in new players that have never played TCGs before. So as I said, there's a huge mix of people. Just from what I've seen in my stream and from what I've seen in the game, I think you've hit that nail on the head in regards to the spectrum of people you're actually catering to.
Yeah. I've got no comment on that. That's I agree.
yeah. Well, there you go then. Awesome. Okay. What? So you talked about your vision for what's coming and stuff. What crazy things have you come up with recently that obviously way down the line, but they're obviously some things that may not happen, may happen. Come on, what's the craziest thing you could think of that you would put in?
I'm a little hesitant in talking my vision of what I see for Infinity Wars after spending a couple of hours reading the forums this afternoon when I was prepping for this interview. It's a hard thing. People fall in love with something and obviously want to preserve it the way it is. And if there's change that comes, it can be quite daunting.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, as long as change is done carefully, that it nearly always is a good thing if it's done carefully. Because otherwise, it doesn't stick. We can measure it. We can actually look at the impact of changes from a metrics point of view. So, I'm just not going to answer that question, mainly for the sake of not really causing any more of a storm than I have already.
It is amazing how sensitive to change people become. They get attached to a property, they get attached to a brand, and they think, okay, this is the pure version of the brand, the version I got first. That's the pure version. And now I'm a purist. I'm addicted to that original pure version. Now, if the company decides to change their brand, that customer gets offended by the change, when it is really the business holder's right and duty to evolve their product to begin with. It's a very strange thing about fanboyism. These people get into well, I was a fan of the original version and I'm more hardcore than you, or I'm more of a purist than you because I was a fan first, and before they changed that and got soft and all this kind of way people talk. It's not particularly constructive or useful to think that way, but there's an elitism that goes with that, I think.
And it's something that I don't know, especially the view that I don't like, that I almost take offense to, is that we're doing it for reasons that are other than my nerddom. Like, this is purely because I don't. Yes, there'll be obviously there's strategic reasons that are going to be great, that end up being great for us doing this idea. But the idea is birthed from the point of view that I want to see cool shit happen in our game. That's why we made the game in the first place. Because I wanted to play a game on my mobile phone that was a hardcore TCG and couldn't find one. And so a lot of the big things that people, take offense to. I mean, these things that are now that are regarded as by some people as groundbreaking improvements in the trading card game genre are just because I hated the idea of getting mana screwed. I hated the idea of dead drawing, and all these fundamental problems that were happening in these games. And rather than going, I'm just going to make a Magic clone because that's what the crowd wants, we did something very different. And so I would really appreciate the trust, if anything, by the fact that we've done what we've done so far, to know that we're going to be careful and we're going to be making cool things happen. But to make cool things happen, it's going to ruffle feathers. It's going to upset people's perceptions of where they think the game should go and what have you. But the heart of the game is still there, and we still want to make the best trading card game we can, because we want to play the best trading card game we can, not held back by, publisher requirements or anything like that. That's why we're an indie. That's why, we're not getting paid by anyone to do any particular thing within the game. So, we're just going to make the coolest game we can make, and if that fits for everyone, then great. And I think it will, because I think the thing that brought people in the first place is what's going to keep them there in the long run, provided they don't get too, upset and go flying off the handle and saying they're quitting and then can't come back to save face. I would just ask anyone out there who's upset by this still, if none of the other stuff that we've been talking about across the rest of the shows put you at ease, or, by the way, or the video that we're going to release soon as well, then just hang about and see what happens, and they could have a pleasant surprise.
And there's a difference between being a fan of Infinity Wars and being a fan of Lightmare and their design philosophy and their products. And I think for me, I mean, obviously I have other incentives, and Nova and I do this show and we broadcast the game and things like that. But I can honestly say I'm a fan of Lightmare and their product development. Now, do I work with Lightmare? Yeah, I do. Do I benefit directly from Lightmare's success? Yeah, I do. So, I mean, maybe I'm in a little bit a different position than other people, but I'm not doing this purely because I'm a fan of the game I first played, which I'm absolutely a fan of. But I am a fan of the design philosophy. I'm a fan of the direction the game's going in. I'm a fan of the people who make the game. And I do put trust in Lightmare to take this game in the right direction, because I know how much you guys have invested in it yourselves. And as a business person myself, I think, what business person invests all this into a game and then cocks it up on purpose? Like, that is ridiculous. So I think that's what you kind of have to ask people, is to be fans of the company. And that's maybe a little harder for a gamer to do, and that's understandable, I guess.
Yeah. And, the couple of things I'd say there is, one is, probably benefiting more indirectly, just in case there's any kind of confusion. Obviously, you guys aren't paid by the company. Nope. So this is, it's an unofficial thing that we want to support as best we can as game devers and players, because I love the idea of there being an Infinity Cast. I've been asking for it to happen for months and months and months, for us to do it.
Well, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Now here it is, and it's fantastic. And then the other thing is, of course, we check out our about page on lightmare.com.au. lightmarestudios.com. Sorry, I don't even know my own website. What the heck? My head is not clear. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh god! Embarrassing moment plus. .com.au, lightmare.com.au. check out our values and what we represent as a company. And no, we're not in it to sell out or anything like that. This is a lifestyle company for me, as the founder of the company, always has been, and hopefully always will be. I didn't start this company to make money. Like, I was already fine playing video games 24/7. I started this company out of passion. It was not out of.
For people who don't know, Elphie, do you want to talk about how long Lightmare's actually been around and what your bread and butter business is? I'm not sure everyone understands what Lightmare actually is about, besides developing Infinity Wars. How long have you guys been in the vocational services business, and how long has that program been in operation?
Yeah. So we started, obviously, as a games company, just trying to make our own games off our shoestring budget. And one of the previous businesses I had was in training high school kids in how to make video games, and not video games, but how to do IT. And so we also have a program that has taken off quite well across a couple of states in Australia that teach high school kids how to make video games. I mean, obviously, we are first and foremost a video game company. That's what we do. But this, allows us to make the games we want to make, in a way. It helps us cover costs. Doesn't cover everything, but it does help us to cover costs. And then other than that, we rely on internal and private investor funding, and obviously the Kickstarter helped a bit as well. So yes, we basically give high school kids in Queensland and Victoria a chance to make video games, get paid to make video games, and get a certificate in specializing in games development.
For how long has that program been running?
That's been going, in this current company for the last almost 4 years. And yeah, prior to that, there was a different company that was set up that was doing similar things. So I've been in the games industry for almost 8 years now. And just to touch on, just to sideways touch on that webpage, our principal pillars are that we're by gamers, for player gamers. We're about integrity and love, breakthrough creation, always learning and growing, cultivating tomorrow's leaders, and perfection is a process never achieved but always aimed for. So I mean, they're the things that we stand for as a company. And the way that I talk about, I also train business owners and mentor business owners in creating self-sustaining businesses. And the 3 Ps are where it comes at. I go passion, profit, planet, and it's in that order. Because if you're not following your passion, there's no way you're going to be able to stay around long enough to start making a profit. And if you haven't got a profit, you can't really impact the planet properly. So that's the way we operate our business. Yeah.
That's a good philosophy to live by, I think. Yeah, it sounds really good. Like the student program, that sounds really. I've heard about, obviously, just about the students, but I didn't know exactly what it was. So that's nice to actually clarify that. Actually, so what? Because obviously you guys made. I wanted to ask this as well, because I know it's not really related to Infinity Wars, but the Omni stuff. Obviously the Omni game that you kind of made before. What was the birth of that, and regarding that?
Yeah. I've had a dream about having a collection of warriors from across time and space and all different realities for a very long time. And so Omni was the first attempt at that. Essentially, Omni is a third-person tactical shooter version of the MOBA style genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, might have done a damn good job of doing what we wanted to do with our shoestring budget and 3 developers. So yeah, that's a universe that we created. It was set in the mythical Valhalla, and it was essentially where all the people went when they died. And yeah, essentially, there's a number of characters over there, the generals and commanders of different factions that are not in Infinity Wars, but we own the rights to the IP and stuff, so we can go anywhere we want with that down the line. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's available free to play. Currently, I don't even know if the server's up, but you can certainly log in as a guest and play as a couple of the characters. And once we've got the dev time and we can spend whatever it costs us, almost 5,000-10,000 just to get it back up and running, I don't see any reason why we can't bring it back up. It's a very fun game, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh, nice. So. That's cool, yeah. Because obviously you've got the Omni cards in the game, so it's nice to clarify that. So will we be able to see more Omni cards in the future, maybe?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much resource to get those going, and it's a universe that we know and love. So, yeah, there's some good stuff we can do with it.
That's cool, yeah. Talking about like all these ideas and stuff you have, like, if you haven't got a particular idea, because it sounds like from what you've said, you just kind of walking down the street and then you suddenly bang, an idea comes into your head. Is that pretty much how it works, or if you're stuck with ideas, or do you like? We asked this of Robbie as well. Do you do something weird in the office to get the creative juices flowing?
Yeah, do you have an idea ritual
I do actually. I have some private idea rituals, which I'm not going to say on camera. But ones I will share is that I enjoy having my iPhone, my Android with me all the time, and I can tap into Evernote, and I have like literally IW ideas, and I've got a lot of ideas that I have deliberately not talked to anyone in the company about because they've asked for time to polish and for time to get the bugs fixed. So I'm stepping back with all my stuff that I want to do, and there's quite a massive backlog of awesome stuff that I want to do with Infinity Wars. Mm-hmm. And in the shower as well, I have like both an Etch-a-Sketch and like a waterproof pencil and paper for writing down ideas. So I am the ideas man.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I like it. So on the subject of like, I just want to because you said you just hired a new artist, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So how big is your team now, actually? Just wondering.
I think it's growing to about 12 people now, 12 or 13
right.
devs.
So how many artists, how many coders, how many...
I couldn't tell you the exact stats, but we've hired a couple of QA people. We've hired a couple of QA people just to specifically get these bugs really fixed and worn out. So, and they'll be working. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but they'll be working with the QA team pretty closely.
Oh, nice. That's good. I'm looking forward to working with you guys more. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and look, this is a very important time. So for those that are the hardcore players that are out there that are watching, that have made it this far into the stream, it really is the pivotal time for us to make or break it. And yes, I'm really asking everyone to sort of get behind it and support us the best they can. We've got a couple of ideas to be able to allow players to be able to increase their levels of support and be able to spread the news of the game. And hopefully, whether particular players like it or not, the news of Star Trek will be big enough to get some of our mates into the game. I know for a fact that from my experience of people that I've been playing with, when I announced that fact, that Star Trek is coming into the games, that's actually had people say that they want to play it. So it's a really strange thing, I know, but, brand credibility, it's an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. My own mates are like, oh, it's just Elphie running this little indie company. Well, now we've actually got something big, sort of pull players in. So I ask all the players to make, the Star Trek fans or anyone who comes into the game welcome. Put aside our opinions at the moment for the sake of growing the user base. That's my big thing here. I want to grow the user base. I want to make it so that we have a sustaining economy. For the game, so we can keep producing cards of all kinds, so we can keep raising the bar. And that's something that's happened out of this, actually. It's an unexpected thing that came out of this arrangement in the Star Trek deal, is the art bar has just been raised again because we have to send it back, 4 or 5 times before it gets approved. So
that art, the Ascension art too, is unbelievable. The art we've seen for Ascension, I mean, Nova and I would love to get Martin on here, and if we can't have Martin, we'd love to get Pat. But if we could have a talk with Martin someday in a couple of weeks, that'd be phenomenal for the show. I know definitely. Our viewers would love that. The quality of the art over the last 3 sets is through the roof. I mean, every time we show a new piece of art, the fan reaction from Nova stream, from my stream, we hang out in each other's streams. The reaction from the people is, holy shit, when can I get that? And that's where you guys are going with the art. It's just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal.
You can
my hat goes off.
Yeah, go ahead.
My hat goes off to the artists, and it's it really is. I'm continually impressed. I mean, I have the same reaction that the guys have, and I just download. I'm sitting there watching. I've got this little Dropbox folder where I can see all the art as it's done, and every week I'm sitting there refreshing that folder. I don't even think the artists know this, but I sit there refreshing the folder every couple of days just to see what new art's coming through, and I'm always impressed. So
you can tell originally from the core set to the next set. Like, honestly, every single set is getting better and better and better art-wise.
Yeah.
And like, you look at Infestation, that blew us all away art-wise. And now that you're releasing some of the Ascension stuff, it's even better. So you've actually topped yourself even more. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we keep pushing it. We keep having other people come in for some healthy competition, and and the Star Trek deal has definitely massively impacted us because we've had to raise the bar again to meet everyone's standards. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So do you have any more questions for Elphie Chess?
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot of ground here, actually. I don't want to, it's a unique opportunity we have here with Elphie, and I don't want to short sell it or anything. But I think we covered pretty much everything I could have thought about, including which coil is the best coil, which was, I think, an important question.
That was the most important question. Actually, one I forgot to ask earlier. Like, how much do you actually? Obviously, you're designing the game, but how much do you actually play it? And like, what's your kind of like favorite deck or favorite style of play?
Yeah, I play the game. I actually play Infinity Wars. This is probably my proudest thing about the whole company. Is I play Infinity Wars more than I play any other game. Now that the amount you guys see me online shows that I'm not playing many games lately, but yeah, it is my favorite game to play, and I generally try and get an hour or 2 hours in if I can. Even if it's just playing around with decks and stuff. And my favorite deck would have to be there's a Radaria deck that just works off pumping her up and using a banner to make her bigger as well, and defending with secluded constructor and robots, and that works really well for me. And that would be my favorite deck.
Nice.
The other favorite deck I've got is the Agent Coyle deck, because I've got a special exception on my account. I think it's still active, where I can have as many Agent Coils as I wish in the deck. So we may release an achievement one day for that if I play the game. If I start playing the game enough, that people can actually get the achievement, then we can have that.
You should make it a viral achievement, and it can only be attained by playing against Agent Coyle with his all-coil deck. And the only way you can get that achievement.
Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan. So,
isn't it a little weird? Like, you have your own private set of G.I. Joes all modeled after you? Isn't that what it's like? Like, is that weird for you?
No, I've got... Look, one of the other reasons why I made a video game company is so that I could star in my own video games, because to share something with you, Chess, I did a bit of part-time acting. I haven't done it for a long time now, but yeah, and obviously the quickest way to be able to get in center lights of a production is to go and own the production. So
it's true. It's true. Yeah. Chuck Norris. Everyone thinks Chuck Norris is just a badass, but he actually produces all his own movies.
So when the Infinity Wars anime comes along, then we'll be I'll be having some voice work. It'll be fun.
So that's your real goal out of all of this, is to be an anime star?
Pretty much.
Wow.
There you go.
Confirmed by Elphie Coyle.
We'll get there.
But that's one thing I'd love to see as well, and a lot of people would definitely love to see, like the kind of more fun stuff, like potentially comics or graphic novels, and with the lore in it. That would be absolutely phenomenal. And things like Scrar plushies need to happen.
A Scar plushie. I would buy a Scar plushie. I would buy a Scar
Scrar
plushie.
Drop Bear plushies need to happen.
We have to have like the big Scrar plushie, and then we have the little Scrar's young plushies. That'd be cool too.
Yes.
My girlfriend would totally want that. My girlfriend would.
I
dig
want a
Scrar.
I want a Scrar beanbag. That
Yeah.
would be cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Quite a Scrar.
We want that. We
Definitely.
want that.
By the way, I just I helped James design his Terramoose card, so we'll see how we go with that.
There's a Terramoose card. Awesome.
There's a Terramoose card coming. Finally, it's been a long time
Awesome.
coming, but he'll have his cards.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I can't wait for that. That's glorious.
It's coming. And then right after that is the Infinity Cast card, of course.
Oh yeah, the chess piece and the Nova Blue card, of course.
Chess Piece Phase Nova Blue card. It's going to be called the Annoying Podcasters. And
Well,
pay
if I
to
have
exhaust.
my way-
We talk for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
if I have my way every time, it'd be the case, guys. But we'll see.
I know. So yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything we wanted to. I haven't got any more questions on my list. Have you, Chess?
No, I just want to say I know it means a lot to the community, Elphie, that you take the time to be available to the public. I know it means, we're sort of like the proxy community because Nova and we talk to the people and you let us talk to you. It's a direct link. And it adds a lot of validity to the game. I think it looks really good, and I think it makes people feel good that you're not hiding behind some desk in Melbourne or Brisbane.
It's just hiding under a bunk bed.
You're hiding under a bunk bed in a hostel in New York. But
right.
I think it's much respect to you for coming out here and wanting to talk about your product, being happy about your product, being proud of your product. And being interested in what guys like Nova and I are doing out in your community. The support means a lot to us, and it's going to mean a lot to our viewers that you want to take the time, and we hope it's something you'll want to do again in the future when there's another big announcement. And we just really appreciate it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, totally. And I would love to express the fact that I am a gamer like you guys. I've obviously got some different roles and stuff that I play in the company and stuff, but I really am just wanting to have this game be the best it absolutely can be, and I will, continue to come up with crazy ass ideas and have them be implemented as best we can to see this game become the best it can be. So thanks everyone for your support. Every person watching this, you guys have made this game a reality. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, there you go. So yeah, that is pretty much it from me, Chess, and Elphie. Please go ahead and check out our streams. The links are below. Any other links as well that Elphie wants to give me, I will put in the link below as well. Obviously, if you have any more questions and stuff, hit us both up on our stream. I'm sure we'll be able to answer them as well. And a big love heart there from Elphie. It's true. The community is what makes this game, and the community is awesome, and it's only going to get better. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'm going on 5 straight months of Infinity Wars media, and I haven't made it. I've made exactly 2 cents. No, $5.02 I have made in my Infinity Wars media career. I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for such a great group of people.
Have you got a donate button somewhere there, Chess? Because I'll go double that shit straight up at least today. If you've got a donate button on your Twitch channel or something. So
I think Nova and I both do, but that's very generous of you. Obviously, we're not hitting you up for cash.
I know. I'm just saying, that's cool.
I think we'll after this video goes up. I think Chess will have made our first $5 from the Infinity Cast.
Where's the donate button? I'll click it now. Thanks a lot, guys, for having us on the show, and do it again sometime sooner.
Definitely.
Thank you, Elphie.
Yeah. So thank you very much, guys. That's it from me, Chess, and Elphie. Thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you next time. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Bye.